Well, hey, Lee.
Hi, Ellie.
Thanks for coming all the way out to the desert.
It's always a pleasure to be here. I love it.
It's a beautiful day today, and
Gorgeous.
a great day to hear about the Lord.
Yeah.
So, tell me, Lee, what projects do you have coming up next? We've your movie came out, your second movie.
Yeah, we're working on a number of projects. The number one project is the Lee Strobel Center for Evangelism and Applied Apologetics at Colorado Christian University. I gathered 40 PhDs in the area of apologetics and evangelism. We created 91 courses. You can get a master's degree or an undergraduate degree, all online, all accredited. Or certificates for people that don't want another degree, but they'd like to take some courses and be kind of certified in the area of evangelism or apologetics. So that's kind of the biggest initiative. It's kind of my legacy project. And then we're working on another thing. It hasn't been announced yet, but it looks like we're going to make a film based on my movie, The Case for Miracles. That come out in 2024. And what else we have coming up? I've got a book that's coming out in the end of October. So busy times.
Good. So no retirement for you.
No, I just turned 71, and
okay.
Whenever I have a birthday, I always say, "Am I gonna keep going, or I'm gonna throttle back?" And we always determine the Lord wants us to keep going.
Press it. Well, good. Well, good things are happening all around. We were talking a little bit about just revivals popping up here and there, and it's exciting. And you're probably experiencing this too, but you know, we hear a lot of bad news about the church in general, but those that have pressed in through it are really pressing in now to understand questions of basic faith and wanting to share that more. You find that too? I do.
I find there's a lot of legitimate questions among young people. We see still people leaving the church at between 18 and 24 at a rate that's about 5 times the historic rate. But and many of them say it's because of unanswered questions. Well, the good news is we have good answers.
We do.
And so we just need to engage them and help them understand that ours is a faith that's not built on wishful thinking, legend, make-believe, or mythology, but it's really built on a solid foundation of historical truth. And so I think the future of apologetics is very important. I think it's bright. And I think, honestly, we're on a cusp of a golden era of Christian apologetics. We have some great universities doing great things, a lot of young people getting involved. I get letters from young folks all the time who are, in fact, I wish I could read it to you. I have it on my phone, but a young woman in Texas, south of Houston, who said that her friend started asking some tough questions about the faith. She had no answers. She didn't even know if there were any answers. And somebody gave her a copy of my book, The Case for Christ, and she realized, man, there's good answers to a lot of this stuff. And she got so excited, she not only was able to share with her friend who had doubts, but now she's actually got permission from her little community to shut down the downtown area on a Sunday afternoon. Going to have booths for various apologetics ministries and churches in the area, and to try to spark revival in that little community. And I thought, this is just a young woman, probably 18 years old, but she's caught the vision for the potential for apologetics to change individual lives and entire societies.
Wow, that's awesome. And one of our goals with our team is to just bring it into the realm of the everyday person and practical apologetics. And I know you have, you go beyond just giving out the information, but providing opportunities for people to work through materials on a practical level. So tell us about some of that.
You're absolutely right. We use a phrase at our center called applied apologetics, which is practical apologetics. Just because we're not looking to create ivory tower academics. We're looking to create people who are going to put this into action. And so one of the first graduates for our program with a master's degree in apologetics is Jimmy Wallace, the son of J. Warner Wallace, the former atheist homicide detective who is speaking at this conference. His son got one of the first people to get his master's degree through our program. And they've got a YouTube channel, has almost 100,000 subscribers. So they're putting it into action. They're talking about why they believe what they believe and what the evidence is. So that's the kind of people. We want people who are going to do blogs, who are going to do TV shows, who are going to write books, who are going to share it across a backyard fence with a neighbor. People are going to put it into action.
It's so important. So, hey, what are you going to talk to us about today?
I'm going to talk about the case for heaven. Now that I'm 71, I think more about these things. But I almost died 12 years ago, and it really prompted me to investigate heaven and the afterlife. Is there any evidence for it, and so forth? So I'm going to talk about that, and I hope it's an encouragement to people. And I hope it is a topic that people, especially coming out of the pandemic, are interested in. 29% of Americans know someone who's died in the pandemic. My brother died in the pandemic, so people are asking questions. What is the afterlife? Is there any evidence for it?
Yeah. Well, you've done so much, and we have Clay Jones on our roster too.
I interviewed him for my book.
Yes, and he was I think he was in your first chapter. Wasn't it? Yeah,
that's right. He wrote a great book called Immortal.
And it's so important. Not that we can know everything about heaven. But our view of heaven is not something people would, by and large, people would even want to wake up in the morning for. And you've done so much, you and people like Clay, to help us to think more critically and more enthusiastically about what we have before us.
I remember one of the people I interviewed for the book was Luis Palau, the famous evangelist, who was on the verge of dying. He knew he only had a short time left. In fact, it was the last interview he did before he died. And we had a wonderful talk. There's a chapter in the book about that discussion. But one of the things he said to me, I'll never forget, he said, Lee, when you get to the end of your life and all is said and done, you'll never regret being courageous for Christ. And I think that's applicable to all of us, and we're courageous in different ways. It may be speaking up socially at an event where people are criticizing the Bible or whatever. It may be taking a risk socially to invite someone to church or give them a Christian book or whatever. Take them to a Christian movie. So we can all be courageous, and we'll never regret it.
No, and I think that's one of the best motivators for courage is to have, just a more robust view of what we have to look forward to. Well, we're looking forward to hearing you in there today. And thanks for coming.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.